Okay, so first one then, which of the following is most likely to cause an outward shift in a country's production possibility frontier? A decrease in unemployed resources, that wouldn't be it, because what that would do is it would move you out like that. An increase in demand for consumer goods, if that was consumer, that was capital, all it would do would be to move you around the production possibility frontier. An increase in unemployment benefits, that would discourage people from working, yes, it might reduce your workforce, whereas an increase in immigration, that's the right answer, so that's D, because it'll lead to an increase in your fax production. Question 2. And what we can see clearly, that in both cases, income elasticity demand is greater than 1. So therefore the answer is really straightforward. Demand is income elastic for both short haul and long haul passenger flights. Income elastic, all that means, is that we get a more than proportional change, in demand, following a change in price or income or whatever. In this case, income. Question 3. In 2016, Tata Steel. So the right answer to that one is A. In 2016, Tata Steel announced plans to close its iron and steel factories in England, could lead to 40,000 job losses, which is going to increase the occupational mobility of labour. Now, occupational mobility means between jobs. So it makes it easier for workers to move from one job, like as a coal miner, to another job as an IT technician. So it's not that. So it's getting workers to move from one job to another. So it's not A, because that's all about businesses. An increase in benefits to the unemployed. They seem very keen with this as an answer, but obviously it'll just encourage people to stay out of work. A subsidy for the unemployed to relocate to areas of low unemployment. That would help, but what that would do would be to reduce geographical immobility. So therefore the right answer is D, which is an increase in the provision of retraining schemes to help people move from one job to another. Question 4. In 2016, the minimum wage that must be paid to workers in the UK aged 25 or over was increased to £7.20 an hour. So over 25s are more expensive. So firms certainly aren't going to want to employ more of them. People aged over 25 presumably will be more willing to work. Firms will replace workers aged less than 25 with older workers? No, because they're more expensive. And firms will replace machinery with labour? No, because labour is now more expensive. So an increase in the minimum wage for over 25s encourages over 25s to work. Therefore the right answer is B. 25. So what we can see is we've got marginal social cost, marginal social benefit, marginal private cost, marginal private benefit. And what we can see is that at T, that's where marginal social benefit equals marginal social cost. Welfare would be maximised at that point. Community surplus would be maximised as the gap between marginal social benefit and marginal social cost. So therefore, overall, that would be overall welfare. So what we got? The diagram shows the current bus market or whatever. Is that government failure? No, because it's nothing to do with the government. Is there excess supply? No. So you've got a choice of either market failure or a welfare loss of TZR. So the problem is that the equilibrium is too low. We're only supplying QE units when the socially optimum level here is Q1. Therefore, instead of getting all of that yellow community surplus, we only get the bits from the units that we actually produce. So there is a welfare loss there of whatever that is, MTZ or whatever that letter is there. But what it isn't is TZR. TZR is irrelevant. So to find the welfare loss, all you do is you find the marginal social cost, the marginal social benefit. The welfare loss will either be that much if you have too few, or that much if you have too many. So the right answer is actually C, there's just market failure. Which of the following statements about a public good is true? Public goods, we know, are the ones that are non-excludable. So you can't prevent free riders. Because once it's been provided, you can't stop anybody from using it. And they're also non-diminishable or non-rivalrous, depending on who taught you. And all that means is that an extra user doesn't reduce the amount available to anybody else. So in this case, they're only provided by the price mechanism. No, they can't be provided through the market. There are no opportunity costs in their provision. No, that's not true. If they are provided, you have to use resources. And that's the same as C. Yeah, so therefore D, they're characterised by the free rider problem. That's the right answer. The following shows a production possibility frontier for an economy. Which of the following is true? So essentially this is just a process of elimination. The opportunity cost of producing 50 consumer goods, which is there. So going from 0 to 50 consumer goods, is the opportunity cost 50 capital goods? No. You'd go from V to W, so the opportunity cost would be 10. There are unemployed resources at V. No, V is on the production possibility frontier. Yeah, therefore resources are fully employed. The opportunity cost of producing 180 consumer goods, so going from 0 to 180 consumer goods, is 20 capital goods. No, it isn't. You have to give up all of your capital goods. The opportunity cost would be 130. So that leaves us with D once again. Yeah, higher economic growth will be higher at W than X. And the reason is that W has 120 capital goods. And remember that capital goods are machines, which are factors of production, whereas at X, there are only 50 capital goods. So the W economy is investing more, therefore it'll have an increase in its factors of production, and therefore it'll grow more quickly. This one. We know that along a straight line demand curve, price elasticity demand is equal to -1 in the middle. It's elastic in the top half, -1 to -infinity, and it's inelastic in the bottom half, 0 to -1. So what's happened is, well, look, if what the firm has done is increased its price from 500 to 600, and as a result, demand has fallen more than proportionally. It's increased its price by 20%, and demand has fallen by 33%. Yeah, so price elasticity demand is about, whatever that is, 1.67 or something. Yeah, therefore, demand is price elastic because the percentage change in demand is more than the percentage change in price. So what's the right answer? Yeah, well, what's happened to total revenue? Well, you just bloody work it out. Yeah, it's gone from 300 times 500, yeah, which is 15,000 quid, yeah, to 200 times 600, yeah, which is 12,000 quid, which is, so unsurprisingly, it's gone down because you increased price when demand was price elastic, and therefore demand fell more than proportionally. So obviously it hasn't gone up, so that leaves out A and C. Total revenues decreased because demand is price elastic. Yeah, so you increase price, demand falls more than proportionally. Now, what we can see here is that those are both inelastic. Remember, the sign doesn't determine elasticity, it's just the value, and that one's elastic, and they're all positive. Yeah, and because this is income elasticity demand, that means that they are normal goods. Normal goods are the ones where if income goes up, demand goes up, and if income goes down, demand goes down. And that means they've got positive income elasticity demand. So what we can see is price inelastic, well, no, because it's all about income elasticity. Cross elasticity, no, because it's all about income elasticity. Fish, milk and eggs are all inferior goods, no, because they have positive income elasticity demand, whereas inferior goods would mean negative YED, which once again leaves us with D. Meat has a higher income elasticity demand than fish. Well, that's not exactly very difficult, that one. Okay, which of the following is an example of market failure? The under-provision of street lighting in a free market economy. Well, that's the right answer, yeah, because that's a public good. A rise in unemployment from minimum wage, if anything, that's government failure. It's certainly nothing to do with the free market. External benefits of higher education internalised by the price mechanism. That means the price mechanism is working because it's internalised them. Yeah, therefore there's no market failure. And oil exploration firms exit the market in response to a decrease in oil price. Well, that's just how markets work. That's just normal market behaviour. So market failure is a misallocation of resources resulting from the free market. It's resulting in a welfare loss as a result of the ordinary operation of the price mechanism. Sorry, I got a notification there. 11. Real incomes always rise. So real income, so your real income, what that is your nominal income adjusted for inflation. So it's your nominal income minus inflation. So If the price level rises by more than nominal incomes, that's reduced real income. If nominal incomes rise by more than the price level, well, that's fine, and that's it. Yeah. So you just got to understand that real income is to do with inflation, which is to do with price levels. Yeah. So therefore, the right answer is B. Which of the following is most likely to result in a rise in savings? So you're going to save if A, interest rates are high, because then you get more on your money, and B, if your income is high, because then you have more money to save. Yeah, so therefore the right answer is going to be C. Yeah, because you've got higher interest rates and lower income tax, therefore you've got more income to save. This one, we've got a vertical long aggregate supply curve. Yeah, so that's a neoclassical interpretation of long aggregate supply, and they say that's essentially the current limit. You know, we can't get past there without inflation. Yeah, for those of you that have done it, it's sort of the Nehru, but in this case, it just represents the normal capacity level of the economy. Yeah. 14, fiscal policy. You've got to be clear as to what fiscal policy is, which is on the one hand government spending, and on the other hand tax. So he's looking for something, and we're looking for something that involves government spending and tax. And here we've got the budget deficit, which is simply the gap between government spending and tax. So if you change those, you'll probably change the budget deficit. Therefore, C is the right answer. A and B are monetary policy, and D is nothing. 15. In the short run, a rise in national income. So a rise in national income is going to come about from an increase in aggregate demand. And we've got various things here, like interest rates and the exchange rate. And what we're generally looking for is interest rates to go down, and probably we're looking for the exchange rate to go down, because that would lead to a decrease in the price of exports. It's a bit uncertain as to exactly what they mean by the exchange rate here. So I would say that the right answer is probably going to be B, but I would understand it if you put D. Yeah, I could see where D would come from, because often the exchange rate effects aren't particularly immediate. But anyway, assume B, yeah, but get in touch with me if you're unsure. An increase in the government budget deficit. So an increase in the government budget, but deficit means that either they're spending more money or they're cutting taxes. Therefore, aggregate demand is going to go up. So what's that going to do? Is it going to reduce imports? No. It means we've all got more money, so we buy more iPhones. Yeah, iPhones come from abroad, therefore imports go up. Is it going to reduce unemployment? Yes. More demand should mean more jobs. So we're expecting the right answer to be B. Is it going to reduce interest rates? No. Is it going to reduce inflation? Certainly not, because there's more demand. We'd expect there to be upward pressure on inflation. Which of the following describes how an initial change in expenditure leads to a larger impact. So this one is saying that we get an increase in aggregate demand. That leads to more jobs. More jobs leads to more spending. More spending leads to more jobs. More jobs leads to more spending, and so on. So an initial change in expenditure leads to a more than proportional impact on GDP, which is national income. And that's just the multiplier process. That's what it's called. This kind of knock-on effect. Which of these shows cost push? So the short-run aggregate supply reflects costs in the economy. Cost push means that costs have increased. So what we're looking for is some sort of vertical shift in the short-run aggregate supply function, like that. Showing that for a given level of GDP, the firm has to charge a higher price, or firms have to charge a higher price. So it's that one, which is D. 19, an economy is in recession with price deflation and rising unemployment. That's not very good. So what they're going to need to do, they've got rising unemployment, they've got deflation, life is shit. Therefore, they need to increase aggregate demand. So which of these is going to do it? So we clearly want low interest rates. That would be good. An expansion of the money supply. That would be good. A higher budget deficit. That would be good. And a depreciation of the pound. That would be good because it makes exports cheaper, remember, from a foreign perspective. So what's wrong? So A is the right answer. What's wrong with B? An appreciation of the pound makes UK goods uncompetitive. Higher taxes, you don't want that. On C, and on D, We don't want higher interest rates. Yeah, therefore that leaves us with A. And finally, which are monetary policy alone to increase AD. So cutting interest rates and reducing, well, okay, that's fiscal policy, that's fiscal policy, that's fiscal policy. Yeah, so therefore that just leaves you with D. They're the only monetary policy things. The bank rate is the Bank of England's base rate or whatever, yeah, in the UK, which is, both of those are part of monetary policy, which leaves us with the right answer as D. If you've got any questions, then ping me a message. Let me know if you don't like the kind of voiceover screen recording, and another time I can do it on my whiteboard. That's it for now, and there'll be something else to have a go at next week.